Okay, guys, here we go. Come on, hurry. Hold the door, hold the door. Stop pressing the buttons, guys. Stop pressing the buttons. Stop pressing the buttons. Boys, stop bothering the man. Guys, seriously. Come on.
You going up to see the doctor? I'm going up to see the doctor. Kind of have this rash, it's real itchy. So, probably gonna need a cream, an ointment, antibiotic, I don't know. I just gotta do something. Oh, hey, this is me. See you, man.
Boys, come on, let's go.
I'll give you a call. That's no problem. I'll be in touch. Just tell him to send me a text when he shows up. And then, we'll have people coming over and, I don't know, we didn't even talk about menu. Sure. That sounds good. I'll talk to you later. Okay. Bye.
Wait, hold the door, hold the door.
This week we move on to the second major principle in boundaries that God has kind of hardwired into how creation works. And here is that principle. Behavior has consequences, and those consequences are absolutely the best teacher. Behavior has consequences, and those consequences are absolutely the best teacher. The truth is, that is so easy to say, but it is so hard to let it play out. If you're a parent, if you're a grandparent, if you are in charge of someone that you love that's going through a particularly difficult season in life, it is so hard to just let the decisions that that individual is making play themselves out so that they experience the consequences that are a result of the decisions and learn from them. Sometimes we feel compelled and we think it's the loving thing to do to step between a person's choices and the consequences of those choices. And when we do that, we normally have the best of intentions. We want to spare someone that we care about the pain of those consequences, but it is almost never a good idea. The shortest route to building a spoiled child or a spoiled adult is to step between that person and the consequences of the choices that they make. When we let people we love live through the consequences of their choices, we are not being mean, we're not being unloving, we're helping them learn how the world works so they can figure out how to navigate it successfully. There is a huge difference between supporting someone through the painful consequences of their poor choices and interrupting those consequences. Standing between someone you love and the consequences of their choices is not loving them. It's hurting them. And so let me show you a couple of key principles that God gives us in His Word for how to walk with someone who's working through the consequences of the choices that they have made. The first one is this: empathy over condemnation. Empathy over condemnation. Empathy is just the ability to understand the pain of another. You can never experience the pain of another human. You can't do it for them. But you can understand the pain that they're dealing with. That's what Jesus did for us. Man, empathy is not clean. Empathy is incredibly messy. It's messy because it doesn't fix anything at all. Empathy doesn't change anything. All it does is support. Empathy does not remove consequences, but empathy is powerful because it lets us know that we're not alone. Empathy deepens relationships rather than straining them. But there's more. The second principle to walking through consequences: encouragement over blame. Every time you and I open our mouths, we have an opportunity to help someone move forward to become all Jesus created them to be, or to discourage them from becoming all Jesus created them to be. Always be humble and gentle. Did you know the first attribute of real strength is gentleness? Be patient with each other, making allowance for each other's faults because of your love. But Paul doesn't stop there. There's another one. He goes on to Ephesians 4, verse 29 of that chapter. It says, don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them. This is the third principle. Are you ready? Coaching over control. I think Paul was one of the greatest life coaches that ever lived. In one of his letters to a group of folks that he was mentoring, he describes how he related to them when he was living with them. This is from the Message. Look at this. We were like a father with his child. Now catch this. This is a great formula for coaching. Holding your hand, whispering encouragement, showing you step by step how to live well before God, who called us into his own kingdom, into this delightful life. It is a 3-step coaching process. Get this. Coming alongside, holding hands. That is the gift of attachment. You may have made a bad decision. There may be negative consequences coming your way. I'm not going to interrupt those consequences, but neither will I leave your side. We are attached. I am with you. Whispering encouragement. That is the gift of fuel. It keeps you going. You know what? I believe in you. I believe that you're going to be better because you've walked through this situation. I can't wait to see how God uses this difficult consequence you're walking through to shape you into the person that you're going to be. You're going to be great through this. That's fuel. And then guiding you step by step. That's the gift of presence, attachment, fuel, and presence. That's what makes a great coach. Great coaches ask great questions without ever removing responsibility for the decision. Coaches breathe life into those they coach while never removing personal responsibility, ever. Listen, God has built consequences into his creation. When his law of consequences is not interrupted, we learn to make good decisions. We learn to mature. When we interfere with those consequences, we stunt the growth of the people we love. And we can learn to be supportive in loving in the midst of the consequences without interrupting the consequences. And we do that by displaying empathy over condemnation, by encouraging rather than blaming, and by coaching rather than controlling. Consequences are not about punishment. They are about shaping us into the mature, effective people that God died to make us.